Thanks so much. And I love my job. I love my job. I love my job. Now, what I'd like you to do, and play along with me, if you will, in the comfort of your workspace, wherever you may be. Hopefully, if you've got a door, you can close it, because what I want you to do is I'd like you to say out loud, or if you're in a large open space workspace, just mumble to yourself. But I want you to say, I love my job. The question is, do you mean it? Do you really mean it? Do you genuinely love your job? And it's kind of intriguing because we've all had jobs at some point or another, and maybe not consistently throughout the life cycle of that particular moment of employment, but you loved your job. I actually got my first job after I had worked for my parents, and I got my first real job, as it were, as a kid, washing dishes. And you know what? I loved my job. I was a psycho dishwasher. Yeah, I was, because I was the only dishwasher who came into work going, let's do this. Yeah, loving my job. You know, there are reasons for that. We're going to talk about those reasons today. There are reasons that everybody has the opportunity to love your job. And the beauty of genuinely loving your job is other people look at you and they say, wow, I want to be like you. I want to like my job. In fact, I want to love my job. And there are some specific behaviors, some specific things that you can do, and they tie back to social theory, and it starts with, of all people, Frederick Hertzberg. It starts with Frederick Hertzberg. Holy smokes, I'm sorry, I blasted the wrong way. I love my job. Reasons I love my job. I have to confess, I do love the intros. I love when Jessica was sitting there saying, and he's the U.S. correspondent for the British Project Management Journal, travels around the world. It's kind of like, yeah, that would be me. And as a result, because of the recognition I get out of my job, I love my job. The accomplishments, being able to point back on a career that spanned all those years and going, wow, I've done something meaningful. Opportunities to grow, opportunities to develop, to become something more than what I once was. Sweet. Love my job. And that's really where we want to go with this. We want to be able to look at and what aspects of our job actually make our job lovable. Now, think about that second bullet up there. Those things. These people generally love their jobs, and it's because of Frederick Hertzberg. Frederick Hertzberg was the guy who said, money is not a motivator. So you're going, Carl, that'd be crap. Money is a huge motivator. Money is not a motivator. It's really genuinely not a motivator. Money doesn't motivate. What money is a hygiene factor. If you're not making enough money, it all stops there. You can't be motivated. But once you're making enough money, basically satisfied. And it was kind of interesting. There was a study done a number of years back that said satisfaction for most people gets achieved in the $70,000 range. What's interesting is once you hit that range, money's no longer a motivator. But you have to feel like you're being recognized. And Hertzberg said, what gives us the opportunity to really motivated? It's a chance to grow. It's a chance to step out on the ledge. It's a chance to do something amazing. And you'll notice I've got the skydivers here. The skydivers, think about that. When my youngest son, turned 18, he wanted a skydiving package for his birthday. And it was interesting listening to him when he came back from skydiving. How was it, James? And he goes, Dad, do you have any idea what happens when you hop out of a plane? I said, no. And he goes, you fall. And you fall like a stone. And for the first 5 seconds, you're sure you're going to die. Then you don't die. And he was so excited. And it was interesting listening to this because I saw a young man motivated. He was motivated by the fact that he had done something beyond his capabilities, that he had stepped out of the plane, that he had done something that he didn't believe he was capable of. And when he did it, Yes, he had arrived. You know, the joys of being a project manager, in fact. And the reason I say that is because most of us did not go through the early portions of our career going, oh, someday I'll be a project manager. No, we went through the early parts of our career going, I wonder where this is all going. And eventually we found ourselves. But we got virtue of once or twice at some point in our career, stepping out of the plane, actually taking that leap of faith, doing something outside our capabilities. Hertzberg said, you want to get people motivated, that's the first thing you have to understand. People have to feel like they are growing. People have to feel like they're developing and that they're being appreciated for it. I had a little angelic music to go with this because, well, it would fit. But the perfect job. Think about the perfect job. And I do have to tell you, my job at the Country Corner in Columbiana, Ohio, was the perfect job. You might think, wow, Carl, that is so pathetic and sad. It's not. I was blessed by a very good boss. The guy's name was Lowell Schloniger. Schloniger was my boss. And I grew up in a little map dot in Ohio that nobody's ever heard of. But the interesting thing about working for Lowell Schloniger, I went back to that map dot to visit my sister and to check in with her. And sure enough, we went out to dinner. And who owned the restaurant? Lowell Schloniger. Yeah, the guy's still around. And I bumped into him as we were paying the tab. And Lowell looked up and he looked at me for a second and kind of had that, you used to have a lot more hair, a look on his face. And he went, Carl Pritchard. And I said, yeah, Lowell, how are you? It's good to see you, sir. And he goes, wow, Carl, I got to tell you something. And I said, sure. And he said, you were, bar none, the best dishwasher that ever worked for me. Taking a front at that, guild professionals being people who've worked our way up in our career, I didn't. I was thrilled. It was like, yes, I was. That was a moment of recognition. And it reminded me of why washing dishes at the Country Corner was the perfect job. Because during that time, Lowell gave me chances. I not only was a dishwasher, I got moved up to short order cook. And then short order cook on the busiest shift of the day, the breakfast shift. Each one of those little steps, each one of those progressions was a small step outside the plane. It was a small opportunity to grow, an opportunity to prosper, an opportunity to be something more than what I was before. And I have Lowell Schloniger to thank for it because he was a great boss. But the reality is, as I've gone through the years, I've come to the realization I really didn't need Lowell Schloniger for that. I needed to basically for myself the same things that Lowell was giving me, and one of them is recognition. Are you recognized? Are you for what you do? In management universe, a lot of times that answer is no. No, we're not recognized. No, we're not appreciated. We work in the shadows. We work in darkness. No, we should be the ones who are out there. You're doing a great job. Rah, rah. We should be the ones who are cheering other people on. In the process, we get the recognition. I've got my little newsletter here on the slide, and it's notable in that we have some kind of house or corporate newspaper, organ, newsletter. And normally when you get those in your email box, as soon as they arrive, you almost have a fluid motion. It's like, oh, look, here's the monthly newsletter. Delete. And off it goes. Well, you know what? There's a certain one or ones of those that you don't delete. Mention you. Tells you in advance. By the way, there's a blurb on